All right, well, welcome back to Better Radio episode 7. This is the first special that we'll be doing, Brian. You want to let the people know what type of special this is?
Oh, I wasn't
The
aware that it was a
Jeffrey
special.
Epstein.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us on this regular episode of the show.
Jeffrey Epstein is dead.
He killed himself.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I feel like we said this would happen.
I think like
Last
everyone was
episode?
like, when the news broke, they were like, yeah, I mean, all right. How else was this going to go? No one. I mean, did you actually think that guy was going to go on trial and be like, oh, Trump and Bill Clinton, I gave him kids and they diddled
Yeah.
them.
I mean, yeah, it was most likely that he was gonna suicide himself.
Yeah, classic. Classic. Hate to see it.
Well,
Well, actually, I could care. In this instance, it's unfortunate that, like, I don't know, he
it's
deserved to
unfortunate
rot in
that-
prison. Like,
yeah, it's unfortunate that he couldn't name names, that his victims couldn't see their day in court. But it's hard to be upset that a pedophile killed himself. 2019 is a weird year when you feel conflicted about that.
because it's just like we could have gotten more of him. I feel. My greatest concern in all actuality is that the story's gonna die with him.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's the hope that
For
people
like
have
some people
for-
have.
yeah,
I know, but it's
particularly the fellow pedophiles that
Yeah.
aren't caught yet. They're hoping that this is the end of the Jeffrey Epstein saga. So yeah, that the internet
had a field day.
had a field day. Lots of
Great
memes,
jokes. Great
jokes.
Great jokes.
You know, my favorite one being the one where, it's the two jacked arms holding together and it's like everyone, and then Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. Just, yeah. And everyone being like, hey, we know that we give people a hard time when they're conspiracy theories, but we're with you this time.
Do you believe in any conspiracy theories?
I believe in this one.
For sure. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Let's not. It's too fresh, you know? It's too fresh. Let's sit on it for a week and see how we all feel. But besides the Jeffrey Epstein, pedophile island, if you will, what other classic conspiracy theories do you subscribe to, if any? I don't know. I don't really know that much. I know you're a big 9/11 truther guy. I know
That's
that.
not true. I don't want that to be out there.
No, it's vaxxers, right?
I don't actually believe vaccines exist, period.
That's smart.
Yeah, I think that my favorite one is that like a fake conspiracy theory is like, I don't believe Lee Harvey Oswald killed JFK. Sometimes people's heads just do that.
Yeah, that's funny. The JFK conspiracy theory is interesting though, because I don't know. I think there's more to it. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not smart enough to like know what there is to it, but my only like concern, or I guess doubt in most conspiracies, right, that involve the government is our government can't like get a website to work. Our government can't build a wall. Our government can't
Do much.
much right. I can't not bail out bankers. I can't not invade Iraq successfully either
It
time.
was probably just where they're putting their efforts into,
You think so? They're just
They could make
super.
a website if they wanted to.
No, totally. I mean, I for sure. I was just kind of
They
going
could,
over.
Go to Squarespace.
You think they could
use
build a
code
wall?
Better Radio.
Oh, Better Radio. Right, that's a good idea.
That's
That's a good idea.
not
Use
a real
Better
call.
Radio. Get 25% off your order at squarespace.com.
Yeah, it's not real yet. One day though.
Oh yeah, I hope so. I hope so. So I figured what would be a fun thing to do in memory of Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know if we should say in memory
in
of,
memory of Jeffrey Epstein,
inspired by
the true story of Jeffrey Epstein. I thought it'd be fun. Do you to talk about? I thought it'd be fun to talk about conspiracy theories, just kind of in general.
I think for the record, we should say very clearly that obviously Jeffrey Epstein was a monster. He victimized children, and that's not a conspiracy. That's for real. Conspiracy, of course, surrounding this is that he killed himself when his court document was like getting unsealed, and before he was able to name other potential high-profile people who are pedophiles. So, not really a super fun topic to talk about over there. So we thought we'd lighten the mood of the world, I guess, and try to and talk about other ridiculous conspiracy theories. So we have a list from Time. This was published on the 40th anniversary of the moon landing. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The top 10 conspiracy theories. And we'll just go through them and talk a little bit about, what we think about each one. Does that sound good?
Sounds great to me. Okay. We're going to start with some light topics, it looks like, on the list.
Yes, so the first one on the list is the assassination of JFK. Obviously, the official story of JFK dying is Lee Harvey Oswald was in a book. Was a repository? Is that what it was called?
Suppository?
Suppository? Is that?
Depository. Suppository is the pill that you put in your ass.
Oh.
Yeah.
It wasn't in that.
No, it wasn't that. It would have been a way crazier assassination attempt, though. No, so, Lee Harvey Oswald taking a series of shots at John F. Kennedy from the school book depository in, I believe it was Dallas.
Yeah,
it was Dallas, Texas. Yeah, Dallas, Texas. I don't remember what that square is called, but it's pretty iconic.
Well, now.
Yeah, now it's iconic now because there's video of the president being shot to death in it.
What an insane moment in
Yeah,
history.
must have been crazy. I know, if you ever talk to people that lived through it, they just love to talk about it, how crazy it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure it was like the most insane thing. The president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world at that point, was murdered on TV, right? It was like live. That is a lot. So obviously, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Was Russia involved? Maybe, or the Soviet Union at that point.
The mafia, Soviet
was
Union.
The mafia involved. Did the government itself kill JFK? I don't know. Where do you stand on this?
I think Lyndon B. Johnson benefited a lot from JFK dying.
Well, yes, he became the president.
Yeah. I don't know. I think LBJ is a really fascinating man in history, often overlooked.
Oh, I would say perhaps one of the most overlooked.
Yeah, a lot of people think
a
lot of people think the current president's pretty insane. But he totally is. But LBJ definitely did some pretty stuff that if Trump had done today, I mean, I don't know how it would have gone. But LBJ used to take his dick out and meetings and use it as use it as an intimidation technique. Yeah, he used to call it jumbo, I believe.
God.
Not kidding.
He was certainly an interesting character, and also, I mean, Stephen King wrote a book about how if JFK didn't get assassinated, Vietnam would have ended earlier. So,
yeah, you should have read the whole book. But on top of that, Lyndon B. Johnson also used to make interns take notes and have meetings with him while he was taking a shit.
Ultimate power move.
Yeah, that's all it was. He used to do it to assert his dominance. Yeah.
Horrifying.
Also, my favorite thing about Lyndon B. Johnson is
somehow even more favorite than those two.
So this is Lyndon B. Johnson was a really fascinating character, right? So JFK is assassinated in Dallas. They're on the tarmac of the Dallas airport. They're trying to fly, the body of JFK.
Yes.
Trying to go back to D.C.
Right. I know. I know.
Yeah. So this is horrible. Yeah. So they're on the tarmac, and Lyndon B. Johnson declares that before they move any forward at all, that he needs to be sworn in as president. So he
on Air Force One.
On Air Force One on the airport. Yeah. So he orders an intern to go to a local bookstore to buy a Bible.
Right.
Brings the Bible back to the plane. Swears on the Bible. Right. That they begin the ceremony. Right. And to do that, they have to call RFK, which is Robert F. Kennedy, JFK's brother, who's the what the fuck is it that swears in the president? It's attorney. Is it attorney general? Might be attorney general.
Attorney General.
Attorney General, nailed it. So,
Yeah.
RFK was Attorney General when JFK died. So, LBJ, RFK like finds out moments before LBJ calls him that his brother's been killed.
Okay.
So it's pretty heartbreaking news.
Kind of a bummer.
Kind of a bummer. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty upsetting. If you were to have heard I was killed, and then like my subordinate,
It's like, make me president.
give me your dead brother's job. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I want to be the co-host.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be the co-host.
I don't really think that's appropriate.
At the moment, but yeah. So LBJ literally he did do that. He had RFK swear him in, and to better sell this to the American people,
Yeah.
RFK got Jackie Kennedy, who was JFK's wife, to stand next to him
Hours
after watching her husband's skull be exploded in front of her from a sniper's bullet. She has to take a photo with Lyndon B. Johnson swearing over the Bible and being sworn in as president of the United States.
Yeah. So we'll
37.
put that up on screen right now. So
Yeah, no, it's a real photo. It's super.
photo.
She is, you can tell, super into the photo. She's very happy to be there.
Still on her.
Obviously,
clothes,
yeah, oh, totally. No,
this
no
point.
doubt. They haven't had time to wash or anything. She's, you can tell her facial expression is pretty.
Horrified.
It's pretty horrified. She's not happy about it.
Who would be?
Yeah, I know.
It's
Rough,
fucked up.
rough day.
Yeah.
November 22nd, 1963.
So
Great
you're
book
saying
by Stephen King.
LBJ.
One of my favorite
JFK.
presidents of all time. Yeah, I'm saying LBJ
You just said
definitely.
he had a lot to gain.
I'm just saying he had a lot to gain, and he was very committed, and clearly the guy was, had some weird ways of thinking about things.
Yes.
He,
He would have thought that was appropriate.
justifiable action. Yeah, he justified actions to himself. But he also, he made progress, really important progress for a lot of Americans over the course of his presidency, specifically Vietnam. It was great.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Definitely everyone universally on board for that. So
It definitely didn't change the culture around war.
not at all.
The public's
Nope.
perception of it. And
Nah.
the world's perception of the United States as heroes.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was a bit of a heel turn for the United States.
Yeah, it was good. It was good stuff.
From World War II, where they were, everyone big fans.
Yeah.
To after that being like, wait, what are they doing?
Yeah.
It was not. Yeah. So, all right. So let's see what the next one on the list is.
So we're back. The deep state tried to take us off the air.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but you won't notice that because of editing.
Yeah. So next one, Brian. Let's keep it light. Let's move on to the next conspiracy theory.
So the 9/11 cover-up. So obviously, lots of conspiracies around 9/11, like so many different conspiracies. Obviously,
Were there ever buildings there?
I'm sure that's a conspiracy theory people have. Altogether, did George Bush's administration let this happen? Did they, want it to happen intentionally, like they caused it? Was there insurance fraud on some things? What did planes hit it? But then they also had explosives in the buildings. There's controlled demolition theories out there. It's a real clusterfuck for that one.
I like the one about Lee Harvey Oswald hijacking the planes.
Yeah, I'm sure that is one. I'm sure another one's like D.B. Cooper coming back.
D.B. Cooper was
He
in
actually
one
never
plane.
landed.
JFK was in another. Lee Harvey Oswald was in another. 9/11 was a tragedy.
Yeah, so that certainly.
yeah.
I saw a funny tweet. Well, funny in a way where it's like people are always asking why millennials are so like negative and depressed. And it's like, well, we saw 2,000 people die on live TV when we were children, and then literally nothing got better.
3,000.
Yeah,
And
the tweet said 2,000, I should say, but 3,000 people.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
Maybe
I
not
mean-
all in one build. Maybe we're across. I mean, one thing I can say, like, that is a little weird about it is like the Pentagon, like plane hitting. That footage looks kind of weird. It's very edited.
I mean, it was 2001.
It was 2001, exactly. Yeah, I
like,
know. I mean,
it's hard to say anything.
I'm not even like feeding into it. I just mean like that
It's
was
like literally like it's not even like a camera. It's like taking pictures.
Yeah, it's like
every few
security. It was
seconds.
almost
So
like a
it's like
security.
you
Yeah.
see like a part of a plane for like one frame, and then like an
Yeah, it's
explosion
probably a plane.
in
You
the
know, it's
next
kind of a
frame.
hard thing to.
Mm.
I feel like if it wasn't a plane, there'd be people at the Pentagon saying that, yeah, we didn't hear a plane come in.
Right.
You know,
Mm.
uh,
I mean, if something like 9/11 happened today, we'd have like people fucking like live streaming while they're trapped in the building. Like
yeah,
it'd be a
no,
lot fucking more horrific and scarring, and not that it
yeah,
wasn't
no, I
um,
mean, yeah, it's just a,
scarring. It's just like we would have a lot of different avenues of seeing the horror, you know.
yeah,
And I think I don't know if I believe in a conspiracy. I think like the Occam's razor answer is that like yeah, there were people saying this could happen, but like no one took it seriously enough, and then it did happen. They were like, "Oh shit, okay, there's a fucking plane right now."
that would be bad.
But yeah.
That would have been crazy.
Anyways,
I would have been fucked up.
well, this next one's pretty timely.
Section's pretty timely. Oh,
Yeah.
the next
Area
one on
51
the list,
and the aliens.
Area 51. Wow, wow.
Yeah, so I would imagine this also extends to, Roswell with the thing that's always interesting about Roswell is the initial like for real paper was like unidentified flying object found in Roswell, and then the like was it the evening paper? They were like it's a weather balloon.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm not super like intimately familiar with this as well as I probably would have been with like JFK or 9/11, but yeah. I mean, like you watched. I don't know if you saw that documentary on Netflix that was going around with that Bob Lazar character.
I didn't watch that. I did watch him on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Pretty okay. Yeah, you got it. Then you get the idea. But I mean, his story is pretty interesting. That guy is, if he's not telling the truth, he's like one of the most committed bullshit artists ever.
For years, like decades. Like,
decades. That guy was just lying and committed to a bit, and you got to respect it if he's lying. But I don't know. I don't see how he like Rogan brought up. He hasn't really like benefited a whole lot from doing what he's been doing, like monetarily or. It doesn't seem like he has anyway. So maybe I'm wrong about that, but
yeah, I mean, because the idea is like after this happened and after World War II, like technology started advancing at a like unforeseen rapid pace, right?
yeah,
Like, if you compare history from like, if you compare like the 1600s to the 1800s, not that much happened in terms of advancement. And then like World War One had a lot of advancements in technology. World War Two had even further advancements in technology. And then since World War Two, we've been in like the most rapid, like advancement of technology in human history. Although I have seen in like the last few years, people are saying that it's slowed down in a lot of ways. Because if you think like from the iPhone 1 to the iPhone like 6, that's amazing. But then like the last few years, at least iPhones haven't gotten much better.
Well, I just think a lot of that has to do with they don't need to innovate. There's almost like there's a complacency on their shoulders because there's a lack of need. The competition is. I mean, people buy Apple products even though there's like now features in Apple products that used to be and then that aren't now. Like a headphone jack. We removed that so we could make you buy this, adapter or whatever. And people just kind of buy it, but also at the same time, I love Apple products. I love everything Apple. I think Apple's the best thing on earth. I think Apple is good. I think Apple's great. Everything from the factory is overseas, or they have workers killing themselves over
they have nets
to prevent them from killing themselves. Yeah.
Factories. That's positive.
Yeah, I just want to keep it. This is bad. Talking bad about Apple. They own.
So did Apple do Area 51? Is what you're saying?
I'm saying Apple has benefited the most from Area 51 for sure.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's where the iPhone 1 was originally conceived.
There's no real way for us to know about the Area 51 conspiracy until next month.
Yeah.
And everyone storms it, and we'll finally find out.
What I was thinking. I mean, this isn't like an original thought or whatever, but. Let's say there were aliens in Area 51. They're not anymore.
No, they're
You know, they're not, especially these people who are like, oh, we're going to go storm Area 51. We're going to find some fucking aliens on a public Facebook post. Millions of people. Right now, like the month before, they're just like making sure there's no aliens around. They're just like,
Oh, they're just moving the aliens.
they're just moving aliens to Area 52.
Yeah, well, my thing here too is like, this is down the fucking rabbit hole. All right, let's
It's kind of a point, I guess.
let's say one aliens crashed in New Mexico.
Yes.
They're like what 3 aliens is like the idea, something like that. I think I heard in one of the conspiracies one of them died in the crash. You know, so let's say 2 aliens crashed in the 50s in Area 50. Do you think they're still alive? I mean, I don't know. I don't know alien biology. Like 50 years could be nothing for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be if you kind of factor in time or space travel.
You know, I've heard that aliens and dogs have the same life expectancy.
Okay, so that's not a lot.
Not a lot, no.
That's hard. That's a tough one. Did you ever hear this is so fucking often. This is a weird episode.
This is a weird one, yeah.
You ever hear like the conspiracy theory that there could have been like, for all we know, a like race of squid people, you know, humanoids, intelligent humanoid squid people on Earth, but if they all died, they wouldn't leave any fossil records because they're squids.
Where did this...
I don't know. I saw it on Reddit, I think.
Squid people. So the idea is that there could have been a species of squid people, but we would never know.
Hypothetically, yeah, we would not know. I mean, I guess that also says that they didn't build anything.
That's really dumb. That's like the dumbest conspiracy theory I've ever heard. Race of ancient squid people. When squid
ruled the earth.
New Republic. What?
This is based on a book.
Squid Empire: The Rise and Fall of Cephalopods.
Tells the story. Tells the world of the ancient cephalopods, at least as best as anyone can, including these aminoids cephalopods, which include octopi, cuttlefish, and squid. I don't know what this is. Just summarize what it is.
I think the idea that like something could happen isn't a good thing. Why you shouldn't just believe in it because it could have happened.
It's a thought experiment, I think.
Just a thought experiment. Okay. We got the Paul is Dead. It's a classic.
Paul McCartney?
Paul McCartney, yeah. The idea is, I mean, take a look at this. It's Paul. He's the only one out of line in the Abbey Road album cover.
Oh yeah. Where his foot's on the.
Yeah. That's something. So people are like,
I don't know if I buy into that one.
I don't know if I care.
I buy into.
I love the Beatles, but they still make good music. I also
care a lot about Avril Lavigne dying in the 2000s and being replaced by a body double.
Avril Lavigne, I'm unfamiliar with this theory.
The theory is that at the height of her popularity, she died, and the music label, instead of admitting that, just found a body double to continue her career.
That's what I would do. Protecting investments.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of conspiracies and facts about it, but I mean, also probably not real.
Secret societies control the world, not a conspiracy theory.
Don't
Don't even for a second. Yeah, Time Magazine would report that. Is all I'm saying.
Like, guys,
say, hey, we got a great conspiracy theory here, guys, about secret societies controlling the world. Okay.
Yeah, we all know. So this is talking about the Freemasons and the Illuminati. Yeah, just like the elite are controlling us from behind the scenes. Pretty standard conspiracy fodder, I would say.
Mm-hmm. The moon landings were faked. Now, where do you fall on this one?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think they were real.
Okay. Why did we never like really go back? You know, what was that?
I went back a bunch of times.
No, we didn't.
We just haven't been back in a long time.
No, we never went back.
Yeah, that's not true. I think.
Why didn't we continue to go back?
I don't know.
You nerd.
It's not that big. Well, it's also really cold on the other side of the moon.
Did you hear we
China's going to the dark side of the moon.
really
Yeah,
dark
the
side of the moon?
first to ever
Drop some acid up there. Watch The Wizard of Oz.
be a lot, be his experience.
It'd be just whoa, man. But something about the moon that I find is interesting. Google sea bears on the moon.
Oh yeah, they're the little bacteria, right?
We have created life out in outer space on accident.
On accident, they
Yeah.
catched a ride and.
The likely survived crash of Israeli probe.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Alright, crashed spacecraft may have left tiny but tough creatures on the moon. Thousands of tardigrades, also known as water bears, or moss piglets, were on board the Bearsheet spacecraft when it crashed on the moon in April.
So there's an entire population of these moon bears. Sorry, sea bears, now moon bears.
Now moon bears.
Yeah, now moon bears.
But they're so tough that they can survive.
Pretty much, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. How weird are they looking?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to check back in 5 to 10 million years to see what comes of this.
They created a great
Civilization
the
on
greatest civilization
Yeah.
of moon bears.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, there's moon bears. There's bears on the moon.
Well, there's obviously that theory that life on Earth was started from like
The same deal.
microbes on an asteroid.
Scientology.
crashing into Earth and then going. It's also the documentary Prometheus, where jacked albino man dissolved his body and started life on Earth.
We really don't have to talk about Prometheus.
He was like, please never bring up.
Well, Prometheus is now a better movie now that Alien Covenant exists.
Yes.
Like, retroactively made Prometheus a much better film.
Yeah.
But when that movie first came out, man, I
Also, spoilers for Alien Covenant, like when David massacres all of the
gave him all of 3
the
seconds.
creators. Yeah. The most important part of Prometheus, they were like, okay, so never mind. David just murders them
Yeah.
all.
Alien Covenant's awesome, though. It's
Yeah, Alien
great. I think
Covenant
it's
was
as
really-
good.
Really fun, like going to the movie.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't like it. I understand that. I don't think it's like it's not even as good as the original or Aliens, but I thought it was like the first Alien movie I saw that was like kind of fun.
Listen,
Since
as far
Aliens.
as fans of Aliens who were born well after the main, the main two came out,
Yeah.
we gotta take what we can get in theaters,
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless they re-release Alien and Alien 2 in theaters, that'd be dope.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean,
Go to that.
I just want them to keep making Alien versus Predator though until the end of time.
Right. Well, they will undoubtedly.
No, they haven't
Now
made a new
Disney
one in a
owns it.
while.
Right.
No one since Alien Requiem, which was actually again a pretty fun movie.
Yeah.
Way better than Alien vs Predator original. Alien vs Predator 2 Requiem is a campy time.
Yeah.
Not a good
Have to
movie
check
though
it out.
overall.
All right. Jesus and Mary Magdalene. What is that they had a child? Jesus and Mary Magdalene might have been married, or so the Gospel of Philip, or so says the Gospel of Philip. Sure is the basic plot of the Da Vinci Code. Yep. So I think we should base all our theories on a piece of, pop literature. But all right.
That was a documentary.
But the theory finds its basis in the writings of probably Gnostic Gospels, which were discovered in 1945. Whose authenticity religious experts still dispute. In the Gospel of Philip, Mary Magdalene is referred to as Jesus' chronosis, a Greek term for companion or partner. Is depicted as being closer to Jesus than any of the apostles. In an exchange between Peter and Mary, he admits to her that the Savior loved you above all other women, a tense moment in the scripture that seems to betray the jealousy that the other apostles might have felt for Mary's relationship with Jesus.
Wow.
The only other evidence used to support this theory is a mention of Jesus kissing Mary often. But some say kissing was the custom and it was typical of Jesus to practice it with those close to him. Remember Judas? What is that? What? Okay.
He kissed Judas on the lips before he stabbed him in the heart, just like how the Bible ended.
That was the end of the Bible. Just like Game of Thrones.
Just like Game of
That's-
Thrones.
Yeah.
That was a pretty interesting conspiracy theory. Definitely the most interesting, actually, of all of stuff I hadn't really heard or gone that deep. I know I had heard that before about Jesus and Mary Magdalene, but I guess I didn't realize. I don't know. That is a pretty interesting one. I guess I could see it. Right.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
We don't know. It happened so long ago that there's no way to know.
I know Jesus was pretty good looking, so.
Yeah, if Jesus was honestly as pious as he is, he's the only person who ever started like a religious following that didn't take advantage of the followers. So good on you, Jesus. Good for being a good guy, you know?
I don't know if that's technically true, but all right.
It's the only one who's ever started a religion not to take advantage of its followers.
Definitely don't know if that's true. I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna stand by that one.
That's definitely. I think you should read more. I think you should read more.
It's fun. I'm just gonna go with that. All right.
Holocaust revisionism. Again, keeping it light.
Oh my god.
This is a bad one.
Let's skip that one.
You want to skip that
The
one?
Holocaust happened.
That's good. That's doing a lot of justice.
Official Better Radio stance. So
The Holocaust happened, and it was a horrible thing. Probably happened like they said
the
it
worst
did.
atrocity in modern history. So
Well, Stalin killed way more people.
okay, so one of the worst atrocities in modern history.
Yeah,
Better?
yeah, that's better. Yeah, I mean, it's like let's not. I mean, it's weird because then it's like, oh, these people matter more than those
Yeah,
people.
okay, that's fair. I mean, it was really fucked up.
It was a horrible thing that happened in the 1940s in a decade filled with horrible atrocities. Yeah.
All right, so let's see. The CIA made AIDS to kill gay people. That's
Doing a great job.
We actually talked about in the Stranger Things video that I made. I'd link it in the title card.
Stranger Things. Still haven't finished the new season.
Oh, you should watch it. But the place that Stranger Things is like based on, they made AIDS there. So who knows? Could be that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. AIDS nowadays, AIDS is pretty well controlled, right? Like, obviously, back in the day, people thought it was going to like wipe out the humanity race at one point. But now, you know, there's lots of drugs can keep people relatively healthy, even who are positive with it, which is obviously great. But yeah, a lot of people. Do we know how it started for real? Like, what the official?
I've heard that originally it might have occurred because like it was a infusion between like human and like the bloods of chimps, right?
Mm. All right, so it says on Google from the aidinstitute.org. Seems like this would be a good place to go. They believe the chimpanzee version of the immunodeficiency virus called Simanium immunodeficiency virus, or SIV, most likely was transmitted to humans and mutated into HIV when humans hunted these chimpanzees for meat and came into contact with their infected blood.
Yep.
Oof, so
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's called, I think, bushmeat. And
that's chimpanzee.
Yeah. And while they say, like, someone might have been, like, carving up a chimp, right? And then they could have accidentally cut themselves while they're doing it, and it just could have made the jump there. Or, the more likely reason, the CIA created it.
Right, which is what this theory says. Rumors have persisted that the deadly virus was created by the CIA to wipe out homosexuals and African Americans. Even today, the conspiracy theory has a number of high-profile believers, such as South African President Thabo Mbeki, once touted the theory, disputing scientific claims that the virus originated in Africa and accusing the U.S. government of manufacturing the disease in military labs. When she won the Nobel Peace Prize, Kenyan ecologist Wangari Maathai used the international spotlight to support the theory as well. Wow, that's crazy. Others insisted that the government deliberately injected gay men with the virus during the 1978 hepatitis B experiments in New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Still, others point to Richard Nixon, who... Okay, of course. Now I kind of believe this. Others point to Richard Nixon, who combined the U.S. Army's Biowarfare Department with the National Cancer Institute in 1971. Though the co-discoveries of HIV, Dr. Robert Gallo of the National Cancer Institute and Dr. Luc Montagnier of the Pasteur Institute in Paris don't agree on its origins, most members of the scientific community believe the virus jumped from monkeys to humans sometime during the 1930s. Wow, it's been around since the 30s?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, another thing about... I watched a documentary on this once, right? And I think, like, why AIDS was so, like, prevalent in the 90s and, like, how it was able to spread. was like in the homosexual communities in San Francisco, for instance, had these bathhouses that people would just kind of go and fuck at. And
Sounds fun.
no, it sounds so much fun, dude. The crazy, I was in the documentary, they were using like quotes from people at the time that were in these clubs, and they were like, the average like gay man has like 500 sexual partners
During this time.
in this time, and this like the average man there was having 500 sexual partners, and then like another percentage of them like over 1,000.
Right.
It's like they were having a great time, but
Yeah.
unfortunately that
'Cause this was
behavior,
before AIDS.
yeah, that behavior allowed that stuff to spread. That, which is unfortunate. Can't just have a good time.
Horrific.
Yeah, but I don't know. It did. Obviously, that's where like the stigma of it being a gay thing came from.
Okay.
It was really prevalent in
So
those
basically saying,
communities.
like, well, if heterosexual people also were having that many partners, it would have spread similarly.
Yeah, they think in the documentary they were making the case that it was like, oh, it was that allowed, in this particular instance, it started to spread, and because of it being in that community and people only associated it with those people, unfortunately, it got the stigma that it was like a gay thing. But then as we
Anyone
saw,
can
time
get
went
it.
on,
Magic Johnson
anyone can get
got
it. Exactly,
Like-
exactly, and it took people, like that to get it, to really help kind of like break that stigma and realize how
Like
big of a
Charlie
problem it was.
Sheen,
Yep,
has
Charlie
it.
Sheen has it.
But like we said, unfortunately today, modern medicine, at least, well, I'm sure it still is like.
Oh, it's
horrific,
it's got to be horrible. Yeah,
It's
but,
not like an automatic. Okay, well, you're gonna die.
which
Death
for a
sentence
while
here.
there, it was really bad. It was killing a lot of people.
And who was it too? Was it I want to say maybe Princess Diana, who was like one of the first like politicians to like embrace like someone who had AIDS, and that kind of helped the stigma
Yep,
of it too.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, what an insane time. Obviously, we don't know like what it was like living during that time. One day we'll have guests on here who lived before 1990 and
Talk about it.
talk about just interesting things that happened that we missed out on. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
All right, so
Let's finish up this list here. The Reptilian Elite Classic.
obviously the most true one on the board, So, Reptilian Elite is the idea that people in power are actually aliens, known as reptilians, who have skin suits and impersonate humans and run everything. And so it says on this, people include Queen Elizabeth, George W. Bush, Henry Kissinger, Bill and Hillary Clinton, Bob Hope. So I think my biggest thing about why this isn't real, other than it's super ridiculous, is like you think they'd be more in lockstep. Like George Bush and Hillary and Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Why, if they're all working
Fair.
for the same thing, they'd be like more,
Fair, yeah.
And I think we can probably say Donald Trump is not a reptilian for sure, because he's the least in lockstep of any politician.
I think he'd have better
Ever?
structure.
Yeah, well, he is.
Physical
He kind of looks like
structure.
he's melting.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean,
like,
he's
I don't
70
know.
something.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk shit about Trump about, but we're all gonna get old. I don't want to put that out there.
Yeah, no, I don't plan on looking good when I'm 70, so I don't
Um,
plan on looking good when I'm 30.
so yeah, what do you what do you think about the reptilian conspiracy?
I think it's pretty likely. I think it's the most likely out of anything on this list. I worry, like, this is the only one I'm worried about talking about, really.
Yeah,
This will get us taken off the air for sure. It's just,
yeah. Everything will be deleted. All of our Twitter accounts deleted.
they can do it, dude. They did it to Alex Jones. Never forget.
Well, I think that's a little different. Although he was a big proponent of the reptilian theory.
Yeah, he was. They're turning the, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't even say it.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the idea. Is that reptilian people rule the world and wear skin suits. Where do you think they get the skin suits? What are the logistics? Do they make it?
I think they must have found Donald Trump, skinned him alive,
Yeah.
and wore his skin.
So you think that? Oh, they think that they take over people's identity, like existing
Like
people.
body snatching.
Do you think there's someone who like is like in the reptilian community. Like he just makes the best skin suits. Like
Oh yeah, this is,
Giorgio Armani of
yeah,
skin suits.
just
You
like
know?
he's great. He's real good.
He's your go-to guy if you're like looking. You're like, well, I don't know. Like last time I got a skin suit. It's a little tight. You know.
I think
like,
some of these politicians would look better if they were good at making skin suits.
yeah, if it wasn't like something. Whoever got Mitch McConnell's skin suit.
Wow.
That was a cheap job.
Wow.
You know?
Poor. What has Mitch McConnell ever done?
A lot.
I know what you're talking about, Brian.
No,
We can't just be throwing bricks in glass houses, okay? We can't.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna say something
Who's
else
Mitch
about
McConnell?
Mitch McConnell. So Mitch McConnell, you know what he looks like, obviously.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
It looks like
choking
the
around.
black hole of his heart is sucking his face in
Constantly.
through his gravitational
Yes, yeah.
pull.
Yeah.
People say he looks like a turtle. Don't know if that's a different race of, a potentially warring race.
I could
with
see
the
that warring
reptilians.
reptilian race. Yeah, definitely.
Using the world as a proxy battlefield. So yeah, that's that. So are there any other conspiracies that you can think of that you're interested in?
Fluoride in the water.
Oh yeah. So the idea was that fluoride was used to like pacify people or like mind control them. What was the exact?
I think like there's a certain amount of fluoride the government allows in public water, and that amount of fluoride in the water has detrimental effects to your brain over time. And the
Gotcha.
idea is it numbs people and it keeps them dumb.
Yeah, I mean that's why I only drink Mountain Dew because I know that I don't want to get any dumber.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that water would cause that.
Mountain Dew is 50% fluoride.
That's tough news. It's a tough break.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
No, it's
Jesus.
great. I love Mountain Dew. It's fantastic. It's great stuff. I haven't had it in a while, but
It's probably for the best.
yeah.
Yeah, so well the official story on fluoride is it helps your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be good for that, but of course people are like, no, it's using to pacify the masses
Mm-hmm.
through bringing down their intelligence, even though quantifiably the average intelligence has been going up for years. So that's fun.
Another one's Pearl Harbor is
The U.S.
involved in World War II.
It's possible, for sure, but
Well, the oil embargo on Japan. A lot of reasons to why Pearl Harbor actually happened. And some say
so like
their
the idea
hands
is they
were
set in
forced.
motion.
Yeah, exactly. They were that it could have gotten that way, and there's logic to that for sure.
Yeah, there's always stuff like that, like the Lusitania. Is that what it was called?
The Lusitania, sinking of the Lusitania.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
World War One. Right?
Yep, yep.
The idea was that was sunk by as another way to get the U.S. involved in this conflict. And pretty much anytime the U.S. goes to war, people say that that's because of a false flag incident. But then there's also stuff where like these pitched to JFK that they were going to stage a terrorist attack on an airplane and blame Cuba to get
Operation
support.
Northwoods.
Yeah, to get
I think.
support to invade Cuba, and he was like, "No thanks." And then bringing this all the way back, they killed him because
Yeah.
they wouldn't invade Cuba. No, of course that's not.
Well, we tried. The Bay of Pigs went terrible.
Yeah, that is something
Proxy.
that gets swept under the rug.
Yep.
Hardcore.
Yep. Yeah.
One of the great failures in American politics.
One of
One of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's conspiracies inspired by the conspiracy going around that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. So yeah, not really happy fun times in the world right now.
Yeah. Hopefully we lighten it up a little bit, talking about tragedies.
Yeah, pretty much anytime there's a tragedy, it seems that people want to exploit it for their own gains and say that there's different conspiracies surrounding it. So
Yeah.
that's fun.
I think it's weird that we live in a time where like people don't believe victims of like spree shootings.
Yeah, I mean, I think
That's
that's
another
starting
one.
to taper down at this point because they're just happening so often.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's disgusting, and like, I honestly like I
I
know.
mean, there were two in the same like 24-hour period last weekend.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's
man.
insane. It's
Yep.
fucking
Yeah.
insane.
It'd be cool if someone did something about it, but I don't know what's
Yeah,
to be
well,
done. It's more than that, you know.
blaming video games.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I grew up playing Halo,
Mm-hmm.
Grand Theft Auto,
Mm-hmm.
and Spyro the Dragon,
Right, the big three.
the big three,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't really
Yeah, I mean, it's like
ever had the urge.
99.9999999% of video game players never will do something like this. But because video games are so popular, that the chance that someone who carries out this shooting played video games is likely. So it's just like an easy scapegoat.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's a scapegoat. You know, it is a scapegoat, and it's not like, okay, what are we gonna ban video games, and that's gonna solve the problem? Is that what it's gonna be? What about countries where video games are allowed to? These video games are allowed to be played, and there aren't shootings.
Yeah, this isn't happening in South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
South Korea is playing the most video games.
Yeah, really well.
Yeah, very well. Their esports scene, unreal
Yeah,
in South Korea.
I'm a big K-pop guy as well.
Right. Well, that's the difference. We don't have K-pop. If we had K-pop, people would be
No
more
street
chill.
shootings.
Yeah, I think so.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So we need to get more K-pop in America.
Mm-hmm. More culture is always a
We're
good
just
thing.
trying everything out here, you know. We're just
Yeah, yeah.
trying to prevent it. Yeah, it's really interesting. One, there was that story that Walmart took down displays of anything with violent video games that was like disputed, but there are also pictures of Walmarts with like only like a Madden and FIFA in their game cases.
Fair.
So I'm thinking something did, come out about that, like a mandate to remove stuff like that. And then I believe today was supposed to be on ESPN a like kind of like highlight show of a recent Apex Legends tournament that happened, but they decided not to air that and air
Wow.
something else instead. So it certainly feels like there's a big effort to scapegoat video games happening at this time.
That's surprising. I mean, do you think that's what that is? Why that was taken off?
Yeah, I mean that's what they said. They said in
Wow.
to be sensitive to the victims of recent mass shootings, they decided not to air the Apex Legends at this time. They'll do it in the future.
Well, I don't know, man. Maybe there is. I don't know. I don't think video games cause mass shootings. I don't. But
I think it's really ridiculous when they say like these violent games like Fortnite. It's like Fortnite is a cartoon.
But like, it is kind of weird, right? That we have like in our society, like we have a lot of I don't know, young kids like killing to the last man standing, like each other online in a virtual video game. Like, is that
Well, it's
weird?
just the elites preparing us
For the reality,
Games,
the Hunger
yeah.
Games, yeah.
Yeah, they just,
Speaking of which, wasn't there a movie that was just canceled?
yeah, The Hunt was
The Hunt.
canceled.
It was
was
sort of
gonna
like
be
the Hunger
released in
Games, right?
September. So the idea behind The Hunt was there's a bunch of red state. I think this is the synopsis. It's like a bunch of red state poor people who are being hunted by liberal elites. And Donald Trump had a conniption about this movie, and it got pulled from release. Even though like Hilary Swank was in it, it was written by Damon Lindelof.
Wow.
That's some star power, behind. It's a Blumhouse movie, so it's a low budget, but like probably would have made like $50 million on like a $20 million budget for like $30 million in the bank, But for now, it's canceled, which I could honestly see this being kind of a good thing for the movie, because now a lot of people have heard about it, where I feel like maybe not a ton of people would have heard about it before, and now maybe a streaming service buys it.
Yeah, I bet Netflix will pick it up or something, release it.
Because
like
now
they
I
did
think there's
the
more
interview.
of an appetite for people to want to watch, like, well, why'd this get banned?
Well, remember, like I said, with the interview, when that dropped, like Christmas Day, it was a great, probably crazy numbers that movie did for Netflix.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, we watched
Honestly,
it on
yeah,
Christmas Day,
we
didn't we?
did.
We had a great
Yeah,
Christmas morning
that
that
was-
year.
That was actually really fun.
Yeah, I had a
thought.
great.
Yeah, I know it's kind of an inappropriate movie, but fuck it,
I don't give a shit.
It's
You
fun.
want to watch Frosted Snowman again, Brian?
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
Well, we've kind of started a tradition of watching like horror movies on
Yeah, and I like that
Christmas
too.
now. It's super fun.
Yeah,
I think
it's a good
we're actually
time.
going to be going on another movie podcast soon to talk about that Christmas horror anthology movie we watched.
Oh, that dog shit. That horrible movie.
Yeah,
That
so
movie is so bad, Brian. I like tried watching it again after the fact. Like this isn't as bad as I thought it was. And it's like, wow,
I have to rewatch it, so I'll let you know what my thoughts.
it wasn't that bad.
I liked the
It was okay.
Santa part of
The
it
Santa part,
with the
I'm
elves.
fucking around. I didn't think it was
Yeah.
that bad. I really didn't.
There,
But
like, there's 3 stories in it, and I cannot for the life of me remember what this one at the school was about. Ghosts, maybe? I don't know.
the one at the school.
Yeah, right. There's like the one with
Yeah, it
zombie
was
elves.
Ghost. It was
There's
Ghost,
the
I
one with
think.
Krampus,
Mhm.
which was kind of a fun like
Yeah.
monster-ish movie, and then there's Ghosts, maybe Christmas Ghosts. I don't know. I have to rewatch it because I don't remember that segment very well at all.
Yeah, I mean that. Was there a radio?
So it's all like in between each segment. There's like William Shatner as a
Awesome.
radio DJ, like talking about like the goings on in the town and how like some mall Santa had a mental breakdown and thought everyone in the mall were zombie elves and killed like all of them.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a really strange.
It was a
Strange
pretty good movie. I take back what I said. Now that I'm remembering it more, it was definitely original. Like I thought, it was definitely a unique.
It was
feature.
also super obvious that 3 separate people made 3 short films and someone bought all of them, smushed them together, and put William Shatner in between each one.
Speaking of the Price Right negotiator,
Yes, yeah, I forgot.
William Shatner. I just rewatched recently that episode of The Twilight Zone with him in it, like Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. What a classic, like, episode of that show. I was watching with someone who hadn't like watched The Twilight Zone in a while, and they were just like captivated from like start to finish.
Yeah.
It's creepy. It's creepy stuff, like the monster or the way it looks on the plane and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I really gotta watch.
Terror or Nightmare?
I thought it was Nightmare, but it could be
Yeah.
Terror, 20,000 Feet.
I don't know. Let us know in the comments. I'm sure someone will be
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
how fucking dare you not know the title to this thing that came out in 1961?
Yeah, it was.
really
Yeah, I don't know what year.
But
it
yeah,
was
the
either,
Twilight
but-
Zone holds up. Straight up, the old Twilight Zone episodes are dope still.
Yeah, I really like
Like-
that show. It's one of my favorites of all time.
And since it's in black and white, they're able to like really put the quality, up a lot, and so watching them now, it's not like that weird.
Yeah, I thought so. I noticed that actually when we were watching the other day. I was like, these are like very good looking.
I think like movies around that time and TV shows around that time that did color really age poorly, because they have to like upres them, and stuff gets
Saturated
blown
and
out.
stuff. Yeah,
But black and white films and TV shows aged really well.
I agree.
The stories are so fucking good in those episodes. Like, what was it, 3 seasons that the Twilight Zone was on?
5, I think.
There's so many great. What's that one?
What are you thinking? What is it about?
Something on Maple Street.
The Jordan Peele 2019 redo of the Twilight Zone is exceptional.
The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street.
I
That's
don't
a really
actually think
fucking
I've
good
seen this
episode.
one.
Oh, you gotta watch that.
I watched this tonight.
Yeah, this is a really good episode.
I've seen, maybe I have. I've seen pretty much all of them, but
Mm.
this doesn't sound familiar to me. I'll watch this tonight, and I'll let you know what I think the next
Yeah.
time we record.
Probably my favorite
No way, really?
episode, yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'm into it. I look forward to
Yeah, you
watching
gotta
it tonight.
watch the rest of the new Jordan Peele one.
Yeah, it's stranded on CBS All Access.
Which I'm one of the only people who have all access.
What you do?
Yeah.
Send me
I
your
can give
info.
you- yeah. CBS, I'm not gonna really send him the info. Like, he's gonna get it himself.
I don't know. I just wish they at least put those episodes on TV. I don't think they did, right?
No, because they're trying to get people to subscribe.
I get that, but like, I don't know.
I've watched
I wish it was on
the
Hulu or
pilot,
something.
The Comedian with Camille Nanjiani. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought. And Tracy.
Jordan's in it. Tracy Morgan. Yeah.
Morgan's in it.
Jordan's the character.
Yeah, I was a Jordan too.
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan's in it. And Tracy Morgan's awesome.
Yeah.
And then there was an episode about a comet that made all like the men in the town become like homicidal, which is pretty good. It was, I think it's a good show. I think people should check it out. Jordan Peele, awesome, obviously. Have you seen Us?
No, I haven't yet.
No, I need to see that too. I haven't seen it.
I loved Get Out. Like Get Out was great. One of the better horror movies in
I
a
think
while.
it's really cool that he's become like one of the most sought after directors in Hollywood after being, like,
Well,
I remember watching Matt TV back in the day, and then of course Key and Peele, and yeah, it's awesome.
they want talent, and he's one of the best.
Yeah,
God, Get Out's such a good movie.
yeah, it's also like, I think like the difference between like horror and comedy is like they're pretty intertwined,
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, it's really good. People should check out Get Out, and then I'm gonna check out Us soon, hopefully. And people should let us know other conspiracies they want us to talk about if we haven't covered all of them yet.
Which I imagine we haven't even come close to the ones people want to talk about, because this is the top 10 that Time Magazine wants us to think about.
Right. Yeah. There's a whole nother section that people don't want us to talk about. But those are just theories.
Yeah, no, of course.
Conspiracy facts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Liam, where can they find you online?
On Twitter, at real Liam Marr. On Instagram at mar.liam.
Mm-hmm.
On Grindr.
Yep.
What about you, Brian? Where can they find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at the fake BMAR. That's BMARR. And you can follow the channel on Twitter at WG Everything, on Instagram at Wicked Get Everything, on Twitch at twitch.tv/Wicked Get Everything, and on Mixer at mixer.com/Wicked Get Everything. We made a Mixer. We're following we actually made a Mixer like last April and streamed on it once and then stopped because we didn't want to restream on 3 platforms at once.
Fair enough.
And yeah, so this will be on youtube.com/ No, this won't be on. So a clip of this will be on youtube.com/Wicked Everything, and then the full episode will be on podcast services, of course. Just search Better Radio, and on YouTube at the channel Wicked Good Podcast. Don't have 100 subscribers on that one yet, so we can't get the domain youtube.com/Wicked Good Podcast, but hopefully soon. And we might be doing like streams and stuff on that channel to try to
Boost
pump
numbers.
up the numbers. Yeah.
Cool.
So is there anything else you want to promote before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I got some. I guess I got. Let me just say, I kind of hyped it up last time, but I got a show coming up. So just 1 second. The 23rd and the 24th, I'll be performing at the Comedy Attic for those weekend shows. I believe Mike Bain is the comic on for that night.
Cool.
And then on Saturday, August 31st, I'm going to be on the Best of the Woo.
Ooh, very nice.
Which is the weekend, show, just showcasing some of Worcester's up-and-coming local Worcester talent.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I'm very honored to be a part of that. That's at the Woo Ha Ha Comedy Club.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you, of course, can check out this and Wicked Good Show, which is Brand and Don't Take on the World, but we've rebranded it to Wicked Good Show. And on this channel, and please tell your friends, family, enemies, just tell people to check us out and leave us a review on iTunes, right? That's what people should do.
That's all they should do.
Well,
they should do all that and more.
We've asked them to do a lot of stuff, but if you could do even one of those things, we'd be ecstatic.
Indebted.
Yes.
A great deal.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a good one. Take care. Love you.